Welcome, everyone, to today's explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into this because today we're breaking down a truly chilling tale from the folks over at Cooney Monday. This is a story that completely blurs that terrifying line between a perfect dream and a waking nightmare. I mean, if you've ever wanted to escape the city for a quiet little cabin in the woods, well, this psychological breakdown might just change your mind for good. So let's get into it and uncover the horror. Now, no one will survive. Just imagine waking up and hearing those exact words coming from the person you love most in the world. And their eyes are completely white and they're gripping a rusty axe. It's an absolutely terrifying image, right? But to really understand how a dream getaway spirals into this kind of absolute horror, we actually need to go back to the sunny, seemingly perfect beginning. Section 1, Dream Home in the Mountains. So Amita and Ilish were living the modern dream. They traded in their busy city life for a massive, beautiful yellow house in a remote Himachali village. But here is your classic horror setup. It's an isolated house in the woods, and it's been locked up for years. The very second Amita opens the front door, she is hit with this thick, strange, rotting smell. I mean, we all know the trope by now, right? A cheap, abandoned house in the woods with a bizarre smell is usually a massive red flag. But, they brush it off, they figure it's just dusty from being closed up for so long, and they happily start unpacking their things. Moving on to Section 2, Terror of the First Night. Well, that idyllic, sunny dream, it starts rotting almost immediately. Amita goes to cook dinner, but the fresh vegetables she cuts into are completely rotten on the inside, like swarming with disgusting black bugs. So they skip dinner out of sheer exhaustion and just go to bed. But then, at 4:30 in the morning, Amita wakes up and Ilish is missing. She goes outside and actually finds him sleepwalking. He's furiously digging this deep hole in the garden with a shovel, and he has this bizarre, totally unnatural smile plastered on his face. When she finally wakes him up, he has zero memory of doing it. So let me ask you, would you have packed your bags right then and there? Because I'm pretty sure I would have. Which brings us to Section 3, Reality or a Terrifying Dream. So the blurring of reality really kicks off the very next night. Amita is woken up by this loud, scraping sound. She follows it downstairs and discovers a hidden door beneath the stairs, which leads down to a pitch-black basement. Inside, the smell of rotting herbs is just overpowering, and she finds Ilish down there, sitting in a rocking chair, staring blankly at a black bottle. But it gets worse. Behind him stands this shadowy woman with long hair and hollow, white eyes. Ilish's pupils literally vanish. He glares at Amita, and suddenly that shadowy woman lunges. She chokes Amita right until her breath runs out, and she completely blacks out. Now, the really crucial part is what happens next. While unconscious, Amita has this vivid dream where she is the one outside in the dark, furiously digging that exact same hole in the garden. I mean, she's digging so hard her nails are breaking and her fingers are bleeding. When she wakes up in her own bed the next morning, she just assumes it was a nightmare. But then, she looks down at her hands, and her reality is completely shattered because her hands are covered in real mud and dried blood. The nightmare had literally manifested into reality. Just look at how incredibly fast this whole situation escalates. Day 1, we've got the rotting food and Ilish is sleep digging. Day 2, the terrifying basement shadow and the physical choking. And by day 3, we hit full-blown hallucinations, levitation, and ultimately, a coma. To put that into perspective, it takes exactly 3 days for Amita and Ilish to completely lose their grip on reality. Section 4, the Pistaccini's Bloody Game. Okay, try to put yourself directly in Amita's panic shoes for a second here. She feels dizzy, so she runs inside the house, but she's immediately hit with this aggressive sensory overload. The smell of rotting meat and burning herbs just fills the air. The doors and windows violently lock themselves shut. Literally, every light bulb in the house bursts in a single instant. The walls themselves start projecting crying sounds, and pools of thick black blood begin to form all over the floor. And out of all this chaos, Ilish approaches her, but he's holding a heavy, rusty axe that's dripping with black blood. His eyes are completely white, and hovering right behind him is this horrifying spirit of a man with rotting flesh and pitch-black eyes. Ilish starts chanting in this demonic voice that no one will survive. Amita starts backing away, bumps into the witch from the basement, gets choked again, and faints. But here is the absolute craziest part of all this. She wakes up, and it's 3 a.m. Everything is perfectly normal. There's no blood, no axe. Ilish is just sleeping peacefully right beside her. But obviously, Amita can't trust reality anymore. She sneaks down to check the basement, confirms it actually does exist, and then hears a noise upstairs. She runs back to the bedroom only to find Ailesh levitating completely above the bed. He's thrashing around like he's chained by invisible forces. Amita tries desperately to call for help, but no one in the village is answering the phone. Suddenly, Ailesh's body goes completely stiff and drops to the floor. Amita rushes over to him, but when she looks down, it's not Ailesh. It's the horrifying witch from her nightmares, laying right there on the floor. The witch lunges, chokes her one final time, and completely cuts off her breath. Section 5. A Cursed Truth. Just one day. One single day. That is how fast the supernatural terror took a very real physical toll, plunging Amita into an inexplicable coma. When Ailesh wakes up the next morning, Amita simply won't wake up. She actually starts having severe seizures. He rushes her to the local clinic, but get this, all her medical reports come back completely normal. The only anomaly they can find is a wildly racing heartbeat. By the time they actually make it to a larger hospital, she has slipped into a deep, unresponsive coma. Confused and absolutely terrified, Ailesh goes back to the house. And outside, he meets this mysterious old man who finally explains the truth. He breaks down the chilling modus operandi of the entity haunting them, a Piशाccini. Step 1. She traps her victims in a maze of their own dreams. Step 2. While they're trapped and completely helpless, she slowly steals their life force. And step 3. Once they are dead, their physical bodies are buried right there in the house, adding to this hidden, gruesome graveyard. The old man warns Ailesh that he needs to leave immediately, but as the man walks away into the forest, he literally vanishes into thin air. Ailesh doesn't wait around. He immediately evacuates the property and arranges a holy puja for Amita's health. Days later, she finally wakes from her coma, crying about how isolated and trapped she felt inside that dream house. And it's right then that Ailesh realizes the horrifying truth. That mysterious old man who warned him, yeah, he wasn't a local villager. He was a wandering spirit. He was just another stolen soul whose dreams and life had been totally consumed by the Piशाccini. It's honestly a terrifying thought, isn't it? Being trapped inside your own mind while your physical body just wastes away. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. What would you do if you got trapped in a dream house like this? Would you even realize you were dreaming before it was too late? Thank you so much for exploring this chilling explainer with me. Stay sharp out there and always check the basement.